So the negatives call with the client should happen within the first week, at the latest 2 weeks of onboarding the client. And it's basically, to explain what it goes on, is Google, when you set up keywords, if they're on broad match, then Google will take liberties to basically show you for anything that could possibly have anything to do with the keyword that you're listed for. So Ben always used to tell me when I first started of an example he had with a company called Video Insight that sold security cameras. Somehow Google, because if you do these these search term reports for negative traffic, you're able to stop this stuff before it happens. But no one there ever did any negative keyword work. So Google started to show them for the keyword. Somehow they came from video cameras to Cartoon Network, from Cartoon Network to Adult Swim, from Adult Swim to Dexter's Laboratory. And so it turned out that the highest spending search term the search term that Dexter's Laboratory for people who sold security cameras online. So that's obviously just all wasted spend. And, one of the first things we do is work to stop that. It's the probably, other than reducing quality scores by rearranging the account and restructuring the account, it's the biggest impact we have immediately. So it's good. It's good stuff. I've seen clients who waste 50% of their spend on stuff that they don't sell. So we can make a big impact right in the beginning. So this is a client who we signed up who was just everything was on exact match, and we've been having him running on broad match now for about 3 weeks. So it's about time for them to have a search term report done. So let's take a look and see. These guys sell kind of like industrial supplies or utility stuff. So ladders for warehouses, moving heavy stuff, carts, storage, etc., etc. So let's take a look at their search terms and see if I'm going to kind of role play what you would be doing on the call with the client. So you call the client, you set up the client, you set up on email a time to call a client, tell them it's going to take probably 30 minutes, maybe an hour, then probably just 30 minutes. And so you're going to sit down with them, direct them to log them into AdWords. If they are so bad, some clients are so bad at AdWords that they're not going to be able to do it with you, so that's fine. You can just download a PDF of the stuff. So anyways, here we are on the campaigns. Go to keywords to look at the search terms. So these are the leading keywords in the last 7 days. I'm going to look at the last. Let's go since the first. So here we are looking at the leading keywords by click. You can also sort by cost, or let's go by cost, for the last 20 days since these guys have been on broad match. And this is the keywords that they've been clicking on. But like I said, utility cart, Google might show you for something like industrial cart for utility cart, or utility carts, or Mario Kart. You never know. So let's take a look and see if there's some strange stuff going on. I don't think these guys have any negative keywords. So Lumbermac, you can see right here the leading keywords that have clicks. Obviously, there's going to be less cost per each of these than for the keywords, because this 100 different search terms could go into or trigger a particular keyword. You can see if it's exact match. So this is actually, it'll tell you this is actually a keyword we have. So obviously this search term is fine. It tells you the campaign and ad group it's in. And so as you're going through with the client, be like, okay, so lumber rack's good, pipe rack's good. You guys do that stuff. Library ladder. So this is the first thing I'd see, because we're all exact match down to here. So I'd ask them, or how do they feel about library ladder? Is that something they want to ever purchase? And they'd say like, yeah, or no, I don't think so. I think that's wasted spend. Okay, so to add something as a negative, you go into AdWords Editor. You go into the particular campaign. So I believe that's in the Rolling Safety Ladders campaign. So you go down to that, you go to keywords, and then right here you go to negatives. Add negative and add campaign negative keyword. So I would type in library because we don't ever want to show for anything that shows for library. Now you wouldn't do this as you're going through it with the client. You'd just be writing stuff down. So they might say library ladder is not okay, but ladders that are used in library are okay. So if they just want library ladder exactly blocked, then you can add something as on negative exact right here on the lower right hand side. So library ladder is blocked, but they might want to show for other library stuff, just in this theoretical example. Also, you can do negative phrase, so you might want to have these individually. So you might want to block anything that has to do with library ladder. Broad on library negatives might block you for something like school, university, ladder, or something like that, because library, Google could interpret library as a synonym for that, but it's not really that. Negative broad isn't as all-encompassing as positive, regular keyword broad, because Google has set it up that way so that they make more money and can get people clicking on stuff. Pretty much making sure that all search terms have keywords, or all search terms trigger keywords that people can spend money on and they can make money. Okay, so as we keep going through here, Cushman carts, I would ask them if they sell those. Just basically kind of at some point just cut the client loose. Start asking, when they say, oh, I don't like plate form ladder for whatever reason, and be like, okay, well, I'll block plate form somehow. Usually go through about 200 search terms in the first go through. Obviously, this is only the last 3 weeks, but when you do it with a new client who probably will have months and months of data, we want to do the last 6 months of search term traffic. I won't do it for these guys because they've only been on broad for the last 3 weeks, but when you onboard a client, do the last 6 months of search term data. And so that way, when you get down to the 200th highest search term, it won't have one click like it does in here. It'll have like 5 or 6, or depending on the volume. So yeah, you write that all down. Try and be very expedient with the client. Try and not take up too much of their time. This also makes the client trust us more. Makes them feel like we understand their business. It gives us something to go on as you do your bi-weekly or monthly search term reports in the future, so you don't have to ask the client things. You'll know, oh, they don't like library type stuff, and so you'll block everything that has to do with the libraries in the future. Oh yeah, so if a client some clients have like 2 websites or have very different campaigns, or campaigns that might have some overlap where it's important to differentiate between which search terms are being showed. So this guy it wasn't that important. We can kind of tell if something should not be in, lumber rack are all going to show up in cantilever rack. If it's not, then we have a problem. But if you think it's important to do these search term reports, separate for separate campaigns, then by all means do so.